Facebook friends. How are you this, I think it is, what are we, Tuesday? Oh my gosh, the days just seem to be rolling one into the other, and for a moment there, I couldn't even remember what day it was. Gosh, that's interesting. But hey, I'm Lyndsey from sunny Brisbane in Australia, and I'm jumping on here today to share some thoughts with you around comparison. Now, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I found there have been times, hey Dan, there have been times where I found myself caught up in my head, madly comparing myself to people around me. And so today I want to share with you a strategy that I use whenever I find myself in this space that really helps me to move through that. And before I do that, I just want to share some of the things that I've noticed that happen when people get into comparison. And one of those things is that very often we compare our today, our one moment, 1 week in business or a particular area of life, to somebody else's experience 4 years in. Now give me a thumbs up or send me some love if you've ever done that. Hey Gwen, how you doing? If you've ever found yourself looking at someone, what they're achieving, what they're doing, and they might have been doing it for 3 or 4 years, you've just started and you're already comparing yourself to them. And I want to share a really quick funny story with you. I remember years and years ago, I thought that I'd start doing some videos, and I wanted to start releasing some videos for people to help them to grow their business. And what I found was really interesting in that space was my role model at that stage was this amazing soul. You might have heard of her. Her name's Marie Forleo, and she has a show called Marie TV. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, I would love to do a show like Marie TV. How fun would that be? And she has the beautiful sets all organized, and she always looks immaculate on the show, and she's always got incredible guests and wonderful content. And if you haven't checked out her work, I really encourage you to do so, because she is an amazing woman. And I remember the very first time that I went to do a video, I had this vision in my head of how I wanted it to look compared to what Marie's videos look like. And I got to tell you, it was a very sorry effort in comparison to that. And then I started to go back through and realize that years ago, she started doing videos in her kitchen, and I started looking at where she was many years further down the track, and then having, hey Blenda, how are you? And then thinking to myself, why aren't my videos this good? And what I noticed when I got myself into that space was I became very quickly disillusioned. And then I started to try and become someone else. Now, I don't know if you can relate to this, but this is the sneaky little path that we end up going on when we get ourselves caught up in comparison. So I've got to be frank and say that there are still times today where my little brain runs off on a program and starts taking me down this slippery slope of comparing myself to others. And when that happens, this is what I do. And it's this little message I want to share with you here today. So I remember many, many years ago hearing the quote, success leaves clues. And I heard that from Tony Robbins, and I apply the principle of success leaves clues whenever I find myself in this space of comparison. And what I do is I move from comparison into observation. I move from comparison into observation, because what I've come to appreciate is that comparison is usually born of fear. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of not being smart enough, professional enough, whatever that enough thing is for you. But when we go into that space of comparison, we go into the place of not being enough in some way. So when I apply that principle of success leaves clues, what I find myself doing is going into a space of observation. So moving from comparison, born of fear, into a space of observation. And I ask myself some questions, oh, this is so fantastic. I wonder how they're doing this. What a great show. I just love the way this comes together. What can I learn from this now? And instead of going into that space of not being enough, I go into that place of observation and get really super curious. And I find myself moving into observation and then into this place of appreciation of how well they're doing and admiration for what it is that they're doing. And so it immediately moves me out of this kind of stuck space of comparison into this space of curiosity, observation, into this place then of appreciation, admiration for what it is that they're doing. And I find that when I get into that space, I really am super curious and going down that pathway of knowing success leaves clues. And then I'm looking for some things that I can glean from their success, some things that I can learn from what it is that they're doing, some things that I can apply as it relates to me in the stage of life or business that I'm in. And from that place, I grow and evolve as opposed to being stuck, diminish, shrink, and feel less than. So I wanted to pay that forward for you today because I've been doing a bunch of coaching calls over the past few days. And one of the things that is coming up for a few people right now is this comparison game. And I can so relate to it. I've been there numerous times before. And I thought that by paying this forward to you, it might just give you a super fast way to turn that comparison born of fear into observation, into curiosity, into the desire to learn more, to grow, to evolve, and doing so from a place that you know you're already enough. It may be that you're wanting to improve, and there's nothing wrong with improving, but don't beat yourself up for where you're not at, and lean into what you can learn from where you're at in the moment, as opposed to wanting to be where somebody else is, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, however far forward from you. And of course, then really setting yourself up to fail. So lovely to be here with you today. I'm going to rush away now. I've got another beautiful coaching client waiting for me now, but I did just want to drop in and share that with you. Hope it's been of value. And if you'd like to kind of stay connected, drop me a private message. I've put together an incredible little Facebook group where I'm bringing together some of the resources and things that I've learned along the way. Love to share that with you if it's of interest. So bye for now and have an amazing day. Bye.